afternoon, class.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Before we start, please arrange your seat properly. Keep all the trash. Hide all non-related materials from your desk. Okay na? Yes. Okay. So before you sit, may I request Mr. Abrea to lead us in prayer?
Atin pong iyo po ang ating mga ulo. Let's pray. Panginoon, maraming salamat po sa paggabay mo sa amin sa araw na ito. Panginoon, gabayan mo po kami sa pag-aaral sa mga lessons ng aming teacher at maging ang aming teacher po ay gabayan mo po sa kanyang pagtuturo. Patawaran po kami sa aming mga nagawang kasalanan. Ang lahat po ito ay aming samot-dalangin ng kami sa mga ni Jesus. Amen.
Okay, you may take this. Thank you, Mr. Abrea. So before we start, let's check our attendance. Please stay present after I call your name. Abrea Wince Joseph.
Present po.
Batoy Wince. Batoy Diang.
Present po.
Burabod Cairo.
Present po.
Padul Genetically.
Present.
Said Sadama.
Present po.
Good afternoon again. So before we proceed to the main discussion, I would like to ask you a simple question. If whether you agree or disagree with this quotation. And the quotation is, an ugly personality destroys a pretty face. Do you believe in that?
Yes.
Do you believe in that, Ms. Batoy?
Yes po, sir. I agree po. Because I believe that how you treat others will reflect of who you are. Therefore, even if you have an ugly personality, even if you have a pretty face, people will see you ugly as well, and people will not love you or like you because of how you treat others.
Thank you for that very explained answer, Ms. Batoy. How about the others? Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if yes, then our lesson could help you understand better why we should always try to improve ourselves, because we are all born flawed, but also empowered to take decisions that could benefit us or harm us. And it all lies upon our decisions in life. We can be the person we believe, or we can always work on ourselves to be the best versions of us. So I believe that this topic will be very relatable to you because there are certain organisms around us that are created imperfect or imperfectly. For instance, the watermelon. Are you familiar with watermelon?
Yes,
Okay. What is the size of watermelon today? It's big, right? It's round and big and it's very juicy. However, in the past, watermelon is not like that. Watermelon is very tiny and full of seed. And it's very hard. It is non-edible fruit. But scientists or genetic engineers seen a potential about that particular fruit and genetically modify that to become what it is today. As what you can observe, watermelon is big, juicy, and of course full of water. And what we can learn from that is that we as a human are also flawed. Do you agree? Are you perfect beings?
No.
Hindi ba kayo nagkakamali?
Kamali po.
Which means that we are imperfect beings as well. So we can learn that through those imperfections, we can either take a path that we know for a fact that we will improve ourselves. We can be better. We can be not the same person as we are yesterday. So I want you to take that challenge to improve yourself, to alter the course of your life from the lessons that you are learning from our daily activities, from your daily experiences as well. So I hope that you have taken up some part of this discussion to another level, more than just our topic. Because you might forget this topic, you might forget all the discussions that we had. But if I can impart some values or some morals to you, I believe you will take that to your daily life forever.
So before we continue our lesson, let's have a recap about our previous lesson. In your previous grade level, you are already familiar with the concept of genetic engineering, particularly when it comes to RNA and DNA's nitrogen bases. Am I right? Familiar na ba ang lahat about this? Familiar na ba? Okay, very good. So, can anyone recall how the nitrogen bases in DNA are structured? Anyone?
Yes, Mr. Burabod.
From what I can remember to ma'am is alanine is complementary or equal to the amount of thymine, then guanine is equal to the amount of cytosine.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Mr. Burabod.
Before we go to our discussion, let's first play a game. 4 picks 1 word. Now, can anyone try to guess this? Yes, Mr. Abrea.
Agriculture po.
Quite close. Thank you for your answer. Yes.
GMO po, sir.
Exactly, thank you. So our topic for today, our lesson is about GMOs. So can anybody of you share your thoughts in class about whenever you hear or see the acronym GMO? Yes, Mr. Padul.
So GMO, I believe that it stands for genetically modified organisms because we have previous discussion about that in our lower years. So GMO, I believe, are the organisms that are genetically modified to perform or to operate certain traits or desirable traits that would benefit us humans or other organisms as well in this world.
Thank you, Mr. Padul, for sharing your thoughts to our class. So as we go deeper to our discussion, we will know how close you are, how close your thoughts to our discussion, to our topic about GMOs.
So, good afternoon class. Before we continue to our topic, magbigay kayo ng isang examples about sa GMOs. Okay, Dayang?
Example po, sir, yung potato po. Dati po yung potato, kapag chinap po natin siya, may makikita po tayo pag stay lang po siya ng mga ilang minutes sa misa, ay nagkakaroon po siya ng brown. And gayon po, yung potato ay genetically modified. Ito na po kapag chinap po natin siya at nang-stay lang po siya ng matagal-tagal sa misa, ito po ay makikita po natin na hindi po siya ganun ka-brown or hindi po madali masira.
Oh, that's great. Diba yung potato is brownish color? So, very good. Anyone? Okay, Sadama.
Yung other example po ng genetically modified, yung sa cow po, may ibang cow po na sinadya nilang i-breed po para po produce ito ng more milk and for the dairy product po, sir.
Okay, very good. Other? Padul.
Isa sa mga more modern na example po ng GMO is yung sa mga aso po. May mga certain breeds ng aso na ginawa talaga sila to make desirable na itsura, desirable traits na lumabas. For example, yung pug or yung poodle or yung mga shih tzu. So hindi naman lahat ng aso pare-parehas. They are with the same breeds but with different traits or personalities. So ganun.
Okay, that's great. Anyone? Febbe.
So, another example po sa GMO is yung golden rice. So, yung rice po na modify siya into daffodil genetic, which is yun po yung nag-produce para magkaroon ng more beta-carotene. And yung body po nun is ano siya into vitamin A.
Last. Okay, Cairo.
Alam ko kung type ng GMO is yung genetically modified eggplant po. Yung result po nun is mga eggplants na mas mataas yung resistance against pests and infections.
So, lahat ng sagot nyo is tama. So, ito yung definition ng GMOs. So, please read.
Genetically modified organisms are organisms such as plants, animals, and microorganisms whose genetic characteristics have been altered in a way that does not occur naturally by mating and or natural combination. GMO is a term used for an organism created through genetic engineering.
So, yung mga examples nyo, ito yung mga exact na examples doon sa GMOs. So, ano nga ba yung mga risk sa GMOs? So, ito yung mga health risks risk sa GMOs. First, yung toxins in the air, and then the mortality rate, slowed growth rate, and the growth defects, and infertility. Yun. And then the environmental risk, which is the contaminating native plants of crops. So yung mga common sa mga farmers. Then the biodiversity issue. And then the pesticides killing bees, birds, and other living organisms. So sila yung mga risk at may mga benefits din ng GMOs sa ating community. GMO, what to do? Ano nga ba yung mga dapat natin kailangan gawin sa ating community upang magkaroon ng maayos at maging productive na genetically modified organism? So first, avoid processed foods containing ingredients from corn, soy, canola, sugar beets, and cotton. And then look for non-GMO project verified products. So, then eat organic and buy locally grown foods. So, mas tangkilikin natin yung mga local foods natin dito sa ating community.
Now, we will be talking about the GMOs in food and agricultural industries. Okay? Virus resistance or genetically modified plants to resist certain viruses. Bakit natin kailangan na mag-produce ng certain plants na resistant to certain viruses? Mr. Burabod, I'm sorry. Why do you think it's important that we as humans should produce resilient plants like, for example, a papaya?
Akin lang po, sir, from my opinion. Our world right now is in high demand of food resources. So this creating a lot of GMOs product that can maintain themselves for longer, that have shelf life, can be beneficial to us so that we can store more food for a longer time, we can preserve more food for a longer time, we can increase the stock of food resources para po ma-supplyan yung needs ng mga tao sa current time.
Very, very articulative answer, Mr. Burabod. I agree with that because the world is experiencing scarcity at the moment. Marami ang nagugutom. There is a shortage of food. And then, if we can produce resilient or genetically modified plants that are resilient to viruses, then mas less foods ang kaya natin i-produce, which means mas maraming tao ang magugutom. If these fruits or certain foods would remain the same as what they are, kung ano sila dati, kung ganyan pa rin sila, if a certain virus can infect them, mauubos ang crops ng ating farmers. Which means, wala silang kita, wala silang ipapakain sa pamilya nila, and those people who are relying to them, who are relying for the food that they are producing, would also be hungry for a certain period of time until yung virus would be eliminated. So, thankfully, GMO is created so that viruses or certain viruses or bacteria would no longer infest these kinds of fruits. Okay, next, the pest-resistant genetically modified plants to resist certain pests. Same as what about doon sa fruit. Ito namang genetically modified plant like for example, itong corn. Yung transgenic corn, do you love corn, di ba? Corn are seasonal. However, sa ibang bansa kasi, they are producing this year-round. Kasi corn is one of the most popular raw material or raw products that ginagamit sa mga processed food. Like yung mga corn grits, mga corn products, yung mga chips, lahat yan ay gumagamit ng corn. So it's important that itong mga genetic engineer could find a certain way that itong mga corn are pest resistant. So that itong klase ng certain corn ang gagamitin ng mga farmers to produce more corns to match the demand, to match the needs of this product. Next one is the herbicide tolerance or genetically modified plants to tolerate herbicide. For example, it's yung Roundup Ready soybeans or yung RR soybeans. So ito yung mga certain type ng soybeans na kayang i-tolerate yung herbicide. For fortification, genetically modified plants fortified with certain minerals. Just like yung nasabi kanina ng ating isa sa mga classmate ko si Mrs. Jandan, yung golden rice. So parang there is certain trait ng isang plants, for example, yung rice, yung golden rice na to ay merong minerals, it contains minerals that could alter its reaction inside our body to become vitamins. Diba? Maganda siya. Other than just a normal rice or a white rice, which kapag pasok sa katawan natin would become what? Would become starch, would become glucose, which means it is sugar. And from what the scientists believe, humans don't need much of a sugar. Kasi we're over with so much consumption of sugars, especially here in the Philippines. We are a rice-loving country. We love to eat rice, which means that we are consuming mostly sugar in our daily consumption. Cosmetic preservation or genetically modified plants to resist natural discoloration. Example is the Arctic apple. This one, as what we can observe, kapag pinutol natin yung, or chinop or slice natin ang apple, what happens is nagkakaroon siya ng discoloration. It becomes brown or blackish color. Same as what example na binigay sa atin ni Miss Diang, ni Miss Butler kanina, same as with the potatoes. This one is genetically modified to resist that discoloration, to make it look like fresh, to make it look appealing or to make it appealing fresh to our eyes. So ito naman yung mga GMOs in non-food crops and microorganisms. Number 1 is the flower production. GMOs in flower production are seen in modified color and extended base life of flowers. Example is yung blue roses. Kasi diba, marami ang rays of colors ng roses. Marami ang to the question na sabi nila, roses are red. Diba? Roses are red. But somehow, we managed to produce multiple colors of roses. Now, it's not arguable that roses are just red. We can say for a fact that roses can be yellow, can be white, can be pink, or can be blue or violet, or whatever it is that is available to the market as of today. Paper production. Modified characteristics of trees for higher yield of paper production. Example is the poplar tree. As what we can see, the other one is very tiny and the other one is big, which means more surface area for it to be harvested to become what? To become paper. Because some papers are made directly from trees, pinuputol pa yung puno. But this one, since we can produce wider or bigger leaves that we can use to what? To make papers, okay? The pharmaceutical products modified plants to produce pharmaceutical products. Example, periwinkle plants. Itong periwinkle plants is ginagamit to make medicines that could also benefit us, human beings. So that's all for the presentation. Thank you very much for, sinabi ko. Hindi pa ako nagre-report. Ayun lang. So that's all about for our GMO products and for the food consumption and non-food consumption products or results.
Nakinig ba kayo sa discussion kanina?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
Very good. Dahil ang discussion natin kanina ay related sa ating activity ngayon. So, ang ating first activity ay pinamanggatang create your own GMO. So, first, group yourselves into 3 groups. Okay? May grupo na ba kayo?
Yes.
Okay. So, now, do you have your art materials with you?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, the instructions are draw, using your art materials and your imagination, draw a genetically modified organisms. So, ang dapat nyo i-include sa inyong drawing ay bigyan nyo ng pangalan ang organisms na yan. And give the desirable traits. Kunwari yung kanina ay, sa examples kanina sa discussion natin ay virus resistance. Diba? And then, explain why you choose that organisms to be genetically modified. So, you have 10 minutes to do that activity. You may start now.
Pero magsama ka na lang kayo. Ano ba yung doon? Natatutan nila ako.
Tapos na ba kayo?
Yes po!
Okay. Now, choose a representative to present your work here in front. Okay, Febbe.
Ay, ganun.
So,
Isa sa puti.
good afternoon, classmates. So, we are the group 1, Talon na Paul. So, ito po, yung ginawa namin is yung puno ay gusto namin na magkaroon siya ng maraming klase ng fruits. Marami siyang mag-produce ng fruits like apple and talong. So, yun. So, ang purpose po nito, kaya gusto namin na ganito yung mangyari sa isang puno is una, para ma-save yung space sa mga tinataniman natin. Kasi, halimbawa, kung magtatanim ka ng talong, tapos hihiwalay mo yung another tanim na naman para sa apple. So, masyadong maraming space ang kailangan mo para makapag-produce ng maraming fruit. So, kung ito yung gagawin natin, or ito yung magiging result ng gagawin ng sa GMO, na gamit yung GMO, is makakapag-save kami ng space. And balikan doon, na makapag-save ng space is mas maraming fruits na mapoproduce kami. So, yun lang. Thank you.
Wow, that's very nice. Sana naisipan ito ng mga genetic engineers. Gusto ko rin magkaroon ng ganyang puno. So, who's next?
So, yung sa amin po is immunofish. Pangit po yung pagkakadrawing ako, pero ito po yung immunofish. So, sa amin po yung immunofish po namin is a tuna that is genetically modified to resist parasites even more, para magkaroon ng safe mas mataas na chance na safe yung kinukonsume yung fish product. Then, mataas din yung resistance niya against mga bacteria, mga salmonella. So, parang safe talaga siya i-consume, even eaten fresh or raw.
Okay.
Very good. Malaking tulong yan para sa mga mangingisda at sa mga consumers. Very good, everyone.
I know you have learned a lot from today's discussion. So before let me say for the other activity. So can someone here in the class summarize the lesson? So sino gusto mag-summarize ng pinag-aralan natin kanina? Okay, Jared?
So yung pinag-aralan natin kanina is all about the GMOs, about the products that are sa food consumption and non-food consumption na mga GMOs. So doon sa mga products na related sa mga consumption ng tao, so yung parang may mga traits sila na beneficial for larger production, for resiliency sa mga viruses and bacteria, which means that hindi na mahihirapan yung mga farmers na mag-produce ng mas maraming pagkain para sa masa. So naman sa mga non-food GMOs, may mga certain traits na pinalabas yung GMO para maging, for example, decorative sa mga plants. Mas maraming options yung kulay. For example, yung sa rose. So, ibig sabihin, mas maraming options na yun pwede natin makita. So, yun lang naman yung all about GMOs, kung saan nagpo-produce ng mga iba't ibang klase ng organisms na hindi naturally occurring. Kumbaga, ito ay inaltered to produce a desirable traits.
Wow, thank you so much, Jared. Very good. So meron pa bang iba na gusto mag-summarize?
None po.
Wala na? Okay. So, thank you. So, alam natin na importante para malaman ng student about sa genetically modified organisms. So that they have an idea how it's made and why it is important to us.
Finish our lesson. to evaluate or assess your learnings for today's topic, please get 1/4 sheet of paper and answer the following questions. So for the instruction, answer the following question. Then from 1 to 3, you have to share your opinion or your learnings from the discussion. And 4 to 5, you have to give the one industry where GMO is being used and for what purpose it is. Then 6 to 10 is enumeration. Give 5 benefits and risks of GMO.
Intindihan niyo na din ba lahat na yung mga topics about sa GMOs?
Yes, sir!
At dahil dyan, bibigyan ko kayo ng assignment.
No, sir.
So, yung assignment naman natin is simple lang. Ano lang, read articles about GMOs. And then, explain it sa inyong mga kaklase, yung nabasa nyo about sa article na yun. That's all. Goodbye, class.